Hello everyone, this is Jason. It's been a while since I made a video, a couple weeks, but this night is a special one for the American experience. Donald Trump is our new president. First of all, what the fuck were you guys thinking voting for Donald Trump? Okay, let me start there if anyone out there did. Secondly, what the fuck were you thinking voting for Donald Trump? Seriously, the guy was a slumlord from New Jersey who made all of his money from nepotism. He has had multiple bankruptcies. He's a terrible business person. He's a racist. He had federally funded housing that he used to discriminate against black people and was sued for and lost, no contest or whatever he pleaded. He is currently under 28. He's been sued 2,800 times civilly or some ridiculous thing. It has lawsuits pending right now as we speak. The new president of the United States. He didn't show his tax returns. You don't know who he's getting really his money from. He hasn't paid taxes in forever. He has consistently shown a total disregard for Muslims and turned them into an enemy. He has shown disrespect for anybody who comes into this country illegally, in the definition that it exists. And he's going to build a wall. And he is a sexist piece of shit who has denigrated every woman that he could possibly do as much as he possibly can. He's a war hawk. He's talked about in the debates using nuclear weapons in Iraq. He said it. And now he's the president. The Republicans have the House and the Senate as well. So now the president is going to... Donald Trump is going to lead this country into more war, a greater depression that we've ever seen, that we've even seen. He has called China one of the perfect models for capitalism, one of the perfect business models. People just have ignored all of that because they weren't paying attention. And when you bring these things up to people, has anyone had this experience? Because I have. When you bring these things up to people that Trump has said, I mean, just about his policy, forget his social issues, but his policy... They say, oh, he doesn't really mean that. He just needs to say it to win. What? Are you fucking nuts? Are you in such denial? And by the way, the Democratic Party, you get what you pay for, stupid. You let Hillary Clinton, who everybody in the Democratic Party kept telling you, we do not want her as the president. We don't want her to run. She got beaten by a come out of nowhere guy last time in Obama. She didn't even get to the primaries. This was a gift to her. And what it did was, it was a rejection of all things Clinton. From NAFTA and her clueless nature about NAFTA, her clueless nature about unions and the workers in this country, her clueless ideas about Obamacare and how bad it is, where corporations are not giving people 40 hours of work anymore, so they don't have to cover them in healthcare. The Obamacare premiums have just skyrocketed all over the United States, and she was supporting it. She wanted to increase it. She throw in her FBI emails where she said she admitted wrongdoing and she may have broke the law and she was lying about it. Throw in her husband and all of his fucking shit, from the reversing Glass-Steagall to NAFTA, GATT, World Trade, to all of his infidelities that totally made Donald Trump's infidelities totally mute, or anything that Donald Trump did about women, basically just made it a draw. So she couldn't even run on that, and she was a woman. Throw in the fact that people found her unbelievably dishonest. I have talked to people, and I live in a conservative state, but I talk to people, and they will tell me how much they hate Hillary Clinton. They don't know shit about Donald Trump. They don't give a fuck, but they fucking hate Hillary Clinton. And I made a video about this. These are the two most despised people. Their unfavorable ratings are huge. And everybody was predicting Hillary Clinton was going to win by a landslide in some cases. Common Dreams is one of my favorite websites. I make fun of it. But they were telling us, they were interviewing Bernie. They had Bernie Sanders writing articles and stuff and saying stuff like, and others, liberals, saying, what do we do day one when Hillary Clinton gets elected? And the only people that were calling this were the right wingers, especially Matt Drudge. Matt Drudge has been calling this the Drudge Report. I make fun of the Drudge Report relentlessly. They fucking called this. They had the pulse on what this country is right now. And To steal a Clinton, to steal a James Carville, Bill Clinton advisor, it's the economy, stupid. Hillary Clinton had no ideas for the economy, and even if she had some great ideas for the economy, no one would have listened because they despise her so much in that last name. I said that I wanted Donald Trump to win. I wanted Donald Trump to win because I wanted to be speed this shit up, but no one can predict the future, and I would be an arrogant idiot to say that Donald Trump will do this or that. I'm just going by what Donald Trump has said, and the kind of power that the American public just gave this man is scary. And nobody's thinking nuclear. Nobody's thinking what he's going to do with the military-industrial complex. He's saying he's going to increase the military. He's going to cut taxes as low as he can to 15% from 30% to the richest people in this country. He's doing the anti-FDR thing. He's going the anti-socialist thing. He won because people hate Hillary Clinton. I'm telling you right now, if Bernie Sanders ran, and many others made this point tonight in the election coverage, which is terrible. Chuck Todd is a fucking retard. But, he just is. I cannot stand Chuck Todd, and I hated his father, too. But they made this point about, would Bernie Sanders have lost Wisconsin? And it was a great point because I don't think he would have lost Wisconsin. I don't think he would have lost Florida. I don't think he would have lost a lot of the Ohio. And Hillary Clinton was so unlikable, and her unlikables were so high that it was very difficult for her to overcome her own bad press, and people wanted her to go the fuck away. And and the Democrats, for some reason, screwed Bernie Sanders as much as they possibly could, and the Democratic loyalists voted Hillary in because I think they thought it was an inevitability. They couldn't get him to be the vice presidential candidate for whatever reason. They picked someone like Tim Kaine, who is a complete goofball, anti-labor, corporatist nightmare, right? So, and by the way, the Clintons are the part of the Democratic Party, the Clinton machine, the Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Huma Aberdeens, many others that I'm missing because I'm a little tired. It's over. The Clinton machine is done. There is no Clinton machine. In 4 years, nobody will even let Hillary Clinton get a sniff. She'll probably get a little tiny speech at the DNC, and that will be the end. Bill Clinton was one of the greatest anti-labor presidents we've ever had, and now I think the American people, the anti-NAFTA thing, has totally ossified in this country, and I agree with it. NAFTA was fucking terrible. I mean, it's that sucking sound you hear. Ross Perot talked about it, and that long ago, and it's coming to fruition now. Jobs are gone. They're being outsourced all the time. And it was Bill Clinton that signed NAFTA. And Hillary Clinton defended it. And the working class man saw that and said, are you out of your fucking mind? Now, a lot of people say this was white nationalists, a lot of getting him vote in, and a lot. I disagree, because Obama won. When he won by a large amount too. The first time. And the second time it was he wasn't much closer to Romney. Nobody was anti-Obama. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't this anti-Obama thing in this country. There is a nasty anti-Clinton thing in this country. And it reminds me, I'm going to leave you with this. I made a video, and I was wrong. I was wrong about all of this. I thought Hillary would win. But I thought Jeb Bush was actually going to be the Republican nominee. And I made a video about it. And what I didn't even realize was, because I don't watch mainstream news, I don't hang out with a lot of right-wingers, and I certainly don't watch Fox. I read Drudge, but he was saying Jeb has no chance, and Jeb had no chance. People rejected the Bush family completely. They had enough, and they were not even going to let him get in the primaries to be in the top 3 or 4, so he might be vice president. No, and that was evident and abundant all over the country. Same thing happened with Hillary Clinton, but it just took to the generals. It took to the general election. Frankly, this country is heading towards what I believe is a fascist, right-wing type dictatorship, a benevolent dictator type of thing that exists in, go look it up. It's a concept that, and I think people think that, I don't know. I think that's what people want. I think people in this country don't want, they want something outside the system. This goes back to, by the way, to Bobby Kennedy, to George Wallace, anybody outside the system. Okay, because because people get very sick of Washington insiders and the same bullshit and the same lies and the same propaganda coming from this source, and they want complete change. And Donald Trump was a complete outsider in many people's perspective. and many people's eyes. And he is technically. The fact that Donald Trump in 2016 is now the president of the United States, in 2017 will be the president of the United States, shows you the decline of America. It shows you our culture that is completely just declined. It shows how dumb this country is. The young people, the millennials are dumb. My generation is dumb. It shows how ignorant people are. It shows how the two-party system has completely usurped common sense, because we should have multiple parties. We should have communist parties and socialist parties and even fascist parties if you want those or whatever. But we don't. We have two parties, so everybody's got to be crammed into. If on the left has got to be crammed in Democrats, and the right's got to be crammed in Republicans. It's all a sham and a charade. And Donald Trump is the president of the United States. I mean, I don't know if anyone heard Seth Meyers tell this joke at the press dinner when Seth Meyers said Donald Trump's running for president as a Republican. I thought he was running as a joke. And Donald Trump didn't laugh at any of these jokes. He didn't find any of this funny. I bet he's laughing his ass off today. And I'll tell you this. All these liberals that thought this, all these effete, rich liberals who donated to Hillary Clinton and thought that she was going to blah, 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 and tried to bury Bernie Sanders off into the corner, the Sarah Silvermans of the world, those types, they have as much responsibility for this loss and what happens in this country over the next 4 years as anyone in the Democratic Party, at least in the Democratic, milieu. And it was a bunch of entertainers that decided to do this. They either voted with their ideas of what they believed Hillary Clinton was going to be, maybe because she was a woman, maybe because she was a Democrat, whatever reason. But they didn't vote for actually who she was. The WikiLeaks showed how could you support Hillary Clinton after the WikiLeaks? How could you support Hillary Clinton after what she did to every one of Bill Clinton's people that ever accused Bill Clinton of doing anything, these multiple women? She went after them and tried to bury them. How could you support Hillary Clinton after she lied about her emails, these FBI emails? That's pretty simple. How could you support somebody who would be for something and then was against something? I mean, she was against Obama, all stuff. Now she's all for everything Obama does because it was convenient. It was politically convenient for her. How could you support this person and throw in her husband's policies and the fact that Hillary Clinton is not a very likable human being? She doesn't speak truth to power. She is power. And I think not having any socialist agenda at all. I was stunned at the 3 debates. Hillary Clinton won those debates by far. I mean, everybody saw it, and it didn't matter. And Hillary Clinton did not. She mentioned labor, I think, one time. I think unions were mentioned one time, and I think Donald Trump might have mentioned it, or she mentioned it. I can't remember. Both of them mentioned it, but it was like twice in 3 debates. That was all labor and the unions were mentioned because the Clintons were one of the Democrats. The main machine of the Democrats has been the Clintons. I mean, really, Obama got in the way, but the Clinton machine is what has been running the Democrats since 1992. And after the more popular Bill Clinton became because of the Monica Lewinsky shit, and people ignored the bombings in Iraq and the bombings all over the world, and virtually every day of his administration. And what a war hawk he was and how anti-labor he was and all that shit. He became more popular because he was being persecuted. And the economy was falsely good because the dot-com bubble was just happening. And there was this new economy being created because there was this whole new sector, which was tech and the internet and all that blah, blah. So I think he does Glass-Steagall, and that let the banks fucking leverage themselves and become lending institutions as well as, taking your money in. And all of these things happened. And the Clintons I've been reading about from liberals who write about this stuff for the last, since Bill Clinton was president. The common joke was what? That Bill Clinton was the best Republican president we've ever had. And he helped move his own party, the Democrats, to the right. And now the Democrats paid for that. Because why would I settle if I'm thinking that both are, if I'm not thinking too deeply, but if I'm looking at these two parties and I say to myself, what's the difference? If I don't really believe there's a difference, then I might as well go with the harder core right than the less evil. I might as well go, in my perspective, conservative. That kind of conservative shit is kind of military industrial complex. Hockey shit is evil, and that's the greater evil. But the Democrats aren't any different. Obama is running drone strikes in Afghanistan and killing little kids. With no, he has a kill list. He can kill anybody, anywhere, anytime he wants to. And Trump will now be able to do the same thing. And you don't think Donald Trump will use it? I mean, no due process, no, court of law, none of that. Let's just go and kill people. That's Donald Trump. And that's just going to get worse exponentially. So if we've already had that, I think a lot of Americans are like, fuck it. Let's go full tilt. Let's just go for it. And I think a lot of Americans are desperate, and I think they just want change. And I think they didn't want Hillary Clinton, and it showed tonight. This was an upset that I didn't see coming, because I thought the American public would go, the nuclear football is pretty important. We are the greatest nuclear power in the world. We're an empire. We can't be fucking around with some jerk off, failed businessman, rich kid asshole who's said will not take use of nuclear weapons off the table. In fact, he would have said he would have used nukes in Iraq. He's dangerous, and I don't think people quite understand that. Hillary Clinton was just corrupt. I said this in a video. When it comes to, I don't really care about labor policies. I don't care about any of this other shit. I don't care about any of it if we have a nuclear winter. If part of the world gets blown up because Donald Trump decides with his military-industrial complex psychopaths, generals who have been aching. There's a whole section of the military who is aching to use nuclear weapons. Aching. They're building smaller ones so they fit in suitcase nukes is what they call them, and these other kind of nukes. They make them even smaller, and they can do less damage, but they're still nuclear weapons. And the Pentagon desperately wants to use these, and Donald Trump is going to give the Pentagon carte blanche to do whatever it wants to, as if it doesn't have it already. I know what you're saying, but he's going to be even worse because he'll even increase the funding. And with this is a referendum. This will be the American public has given him the keys. He will take that and run with it. He's got a Republican Senate and a Republican House of Representatives, and he will use them. And you think the Bush-Cheney years were bad? You think the Obama years were bad? Just wait till the next 4. I've already said I'm moving out of the country. I was moving out either way. I'm leaving very soon, within the next couple of years or whatever. I need to get my financial situation completely tight and then get the fuck out of here. But I'm not relieved about this because nobody should be. This is a dangerous time we're living in. We are the greatest nuclear power that's ever existed, the greatest military that's ever existed, and we have a president who's going to build all of that up and continue all of that. And he's going to continue this slouch towards, I don't know, this inevitable decline, this inevitable destruction of the United States empire and the United States enterprise. I would assume that Donald Trump will be, he will speed it along quite fast. And, it's going to be a rough time, and I hope I'm wrong about it, but I don't think I am. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. And Trump is our new president. I know. Doesn't fuck me. Thanks for listening.